Takes willpower to even read the author's name. John Cowles from Ligonia. Conceptualization I need to upgrade. Must be another way into the building. Isn't this the one that I have the door for? What's this? I didn't see this before. Door, basement apartment. This must be it. The basement door is weather worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head. That's probably the door Everett mentioned. We still need to get the key from this banana first, though. Oh, I thought I already had the key. My bad. That's going to be a long run back. Who's titled Man from Helmdale in the Wildfire? Okay, I don't know why I needed to read that. Call me banana.
So, how'd you like our harbor?
It's nice enough. It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains. He notes something, then turns to a wild smile adorning his face. Right, you talk to the boss, eye to eye, like men of the plane. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk. Everard said you had a key to the door? A key, huh? He runs his fingers through his moustache. What door is this key supposed to open? He said it belonged to a weasel. Oh, say no more. I got you. He taps the side of his nose with a little wink. I got that key right here, and let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as I say. I'm opening this door myself. I'm opening it for all working men. I knew this man was a commie. He smiles, tilting his head. And it's a good thing you're doing too. Thanks. What you're looking for is the basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the whirling and rags. That's all I know. Our organization is what you call compartmentalized. It means you keep out of each other's business. Okay, where did you get the key from? The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. Case wanders off into the distance. None of this mess we're in. This jiving and juggling. What's it for? He doesn't wait for your answer. To feed our children, I guess. Anything else I should know about this task, this weasel person, when he'll be home? He shakes his head. I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for. The man takes a big sip from his flask. Who he is and what they're fighting for? This is interesting. Why are you striking? We're negotiating our share. Your share? Hey, he seems pleased with himself. Wait, so not wages or pensions or... Your stuff, they're already covered. Shouldn't you be more grateful then? It's a lot more than most people have. Never grateful. Were we ever grateful, we'd have nothing. You fight for every piece. How large a share would you like? All of it. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board so they can take part in the decision-makers process. Are you a communist? No. He pauses to think for a moment. I don't think I'm a communist. Seeing something of value and saying I want it all to myself is a much older and simpler notion. No science to it at all. Even a weak child can think it. The only things holding someone back are I can't and I shouldn't. Right on, brother. Just the way the world works, Bodaro. The boss man, Everard. What can you tell me about him? I think it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. He shrugs. In my eyes, he's a capable organizer and a decent businessman. What does bossing the union entail anyway? I guess you kind of get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals with the owners or other relevant parties, watches out for his own. By that you mean corruption? By heavens, why would he not be corrupt? We live in a harsh and disordered world, see, and in this world, the old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciate it even. He is personally not too lavish. That desk seemed lavish to me. He's reasonably lavish. Sure, that's his prerogative. It's not like you want to sell the demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative illusion. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway, and moralism is the most corrupt of them all. You seem to have spent a lot of time thinking about the political situation. Sure, I've had the necessary free time. He spreads his arm wide, using the reach to show how much time he has. Fortunately, there's always time. The look in his brown eyes conjures up an understanding. To him, having command of his time is the most important thing. It all comes together now, the way he speaks about scabs, his general attitude. He's a follower of a 500-year-old Franco-Nigerian Bordaro code, itself an appropriation of Vespertine cool, that of a noble peasant or a traveling herdsman, true to yourself, independent, in your actions, loyal to your friends. Maybe I am a Bordaro. No. I could? No. The man sitting on the railing, his hands reaching far and wide, yet it feels as if he could effortlessly go even wider if need be, an endless torrent of time. Any idea who killed the hanged man? That mercenary, eh? He shrugs. We could have killed him. That indeed is the question. Why even do such a thing? He shakes his head solemnly. That merc was hanged with a very specific type of cargo belt. One often used in heavy transport areas, for example, harbors. What a thought, he scoffs, looking shocked. Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Unless they were pushed, of course. Pushed how? Your dead guy was an enemy combatant. Hold up, what does that mean? He was an agent of the opposition, attempting to undermine their honorable efforts. Did you kill him? I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men with all sorts of skills. Understood, the lieutenant takes a note. This has been of limited use. Still, thank you. No problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sorry, I'm glad it's not my search. He takes a sip from the flask. Boom. So we got the key now. Which is good. I can open the door. I wonder if I can talk to this chick again.
Trying to sneak up on me again? Trying to snuff me out? Get away, pig!
Such a bitch. Carefully knock. You knock silently. The upholstery muffles the sound. No response comes from the apartment. I guess no one's in. The lieutenant looks uncomfortable. Press your ear against the door. The leather upholstery is worn and rough against your jaw. You don't hear any movement. In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you. No birds chirp. Lieutenant, what is your opinion of this task we're undertaking? Let's be honest, this isn't what I joined the RCM for. But every day tells you something new about yourself. The lieutenant replies, still inspecting the padded door. Apparently, working with the local union boss to get info on an investigation is not something I'm squeamish about. So you don't mind if I unlock the door? I mind that a local thug is using the RCM for his busy work, but if this gets us to the bottom of this hanging, then I'm willing to look over it. On the other hand, he looks at the surrounding windows uncomfortably. We could just tell Everett we open the door and leave. No one seems to be telling us to see if we actually did it. Lie to Everett? That's also an option? Yes. Presenting a fabrication is not to get results here and there. He crosses his arm. You take this task. You make the call. Continue. The door is right here. You can just open it and be done with it. Besides, if you never open it, you're never going to find out what's behind the door. I'm pretty sure I don't have very good skill in lie. Hang on, is it? Drama, right? For lying? Yeah, I don't have very high drama, so I will just open it. Trying to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling the handle to loosen the bolt. Finally, the door unlocks with a small clack. Thoughts race through your head. The sound of the key turning still echoes in the yard. Hopefully no one heard. Might as well go in. See what's in here, eh? Elysium. Small suitcase of clothes. Guests are staying over? Book titled The Hidden World of Walking Sticks lies open. You can almost feel the warmth of the red sun on the flag. Interior solary dress shirt. I'll take that. Whoever lies here admires fair-haired fantasy heroes with big muscles. This is the flag of Revachol the Silveranti. What's with the sun? This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle. What's the sevenfold sun miracle? It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag. Lieutenant, the old flag of Suzerain. He looks around in the apartment. Lieutenant is an old-fashioned guy. Don't bow to the flag. The flag didn't seem to mind. It's just a colourful fabric with the sun sewn into it. Like all feudal flags, it looks like a children's drawing. This might be where the rifle is, though. A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes and things. Tap on the mugs. A little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. The images betray a lack of interest in human beings. They are merely unflattering caricatures. What do I mean uncomfortable? The owner of these mugs doesn't like people of other ethnicities very much. Typical asshole. This person is unhappy. The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs, then puts it back down with a look of disdain. Beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment. Whip out your yellow man mug and compare. Yes, your broken mug friend would feel very much at home here. The same humor, the same mocking lines. There's the missing tin soldier. The lieutenant looks at the mugs next to each other. Whoever lives here might have used the Whirling's container to dump his trash. Now they've joined the ire of the Union. The plot thickens, as they say. An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clues have a way of magically connecting to other clues down the road. Perhaps you should break into apartments more often. Yes. Do you really think it's the same person who put the dead man's clothes in the trash? Who knows? The lieutenant opens his notebook. I'm not expecting too much from this clothes and trash lead either way. It might turn out to be some random local matter, but still, a nice coincidence. Smells disinfectant in the room. Smells like chemicals. Map wall. No, okay. Let's figure out what we're going to do next, chat. Got this shirt, which is better than the one I've currently got. +1 to conceptualize and -1 to suggestion. This one is +1 to logic. I'll keep that in mind for next time I need to do something. I'm going to put on my gloves. This one. It's a backyard wall. Where's the map wall? So I must be up there. So it's down here. Down here. If I equip my plastic bag, will I just suddenly start shooting shit to pick up? I don't know. What is this? Kind of usually closes the water lock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal, but there's a crash Samaran button sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. Pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pings. You hear a soft clunk, then nothing happens. Push it harder. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blows in from the sea, interrupts the silence of the situation. Lieutenant comes to himself while staring at your activity. This lever. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the water let to get across the canal some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? Oh, yeah. So where's this map wall? Oh, over here. God damn it. I ran down too far. Oh yeah, was I going to do something with this? No, not that one. That's not trash. The map wall somewhere here, right?
Check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Alright, that didn't work either. Same options. I'll start talking to this joystick again. See if she knows anything. I still haven't found my badge, which is annoying.
You're back. Good.
By the way,
what can I help you with?
By the way, I've talked to Everett Claire. You have? And how did you like Mr. Claire? I didn't. Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Or wait, actually, she answers her own question. Corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic worm-like corruption reaching into the bowels of the earth. She looks at the ground and nods. The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick sides. Of course, and don't expect you to share anything he told me with me. I am not a corrupt worm myself. She turns to you. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be, she smiles, gossiping. Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Mr. Everett is helping me find my gun. Oh, her voice becomes large and real. That's so helpful of him. The lieutenant looks at you and can swear his jaw muscle is trembling. He's able to contain the anger and surprise. Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting. Incredible, she shakes her head. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun? No. Well, maybe he's not as helpful as you thought then. Is there anything else? I'd rather talk to you about something else, of course. Something come out later down the road. Don't be afraid to drop by to a chat. You seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown in this reality that we're in. This reality? She pulls her head close around her neck. It's related to that medical episode. I have trouble remembering even the most basic terms of reality. Oh yes, the episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy now that I think of it. She puts down her thermal cup and looks at you. Don't be faced, madame. You function perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality. You may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can. Alright, we're in. I know these all look good. Begin with the first, okay? Where are we? We're in Martinez, baby. Baby? A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover. Pay it no heed. I'm a disco holdover myself. Ah, aren't we all? And what is Martinez? Martinez is a district of Revachol. She looks around, her grain raincoat flapping in the wind. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You wouldn't be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten even. Shelled to smithereens during the revolution. She shrugs. It has its charms, just not this time of year. Tell me more about Martinez. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. She closes her eyes. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. She opens them. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. You mentioned a sea. What sea is this? It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol, and the bay feeds into the ocean. Are we near the ocean? Yes, we're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic. Vast, lukewarm, and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight. What's the name of this island? Caillou, as you already know. She looks at the waters. Imagine a pebble, a smoothed over pebble amidst the great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks of the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributor. It's clear this pebble is of enormous value to her, and to humanity at large. Okay, that's Martinez. What's Revachol? Revachol is what you call a city. What kind of a city is Revachol? A great kind. As if it's self-explanatory beyond patriotism. In fact, what makes Revachol great? History, detective. They built this city to resolve history, our part in it at least, for centuries. Okay, who built this city? The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ilmara, depending on your creed. Okay, who built this city? The nations of the... when was the Revachol built? In the DeLorean century, 380 years ago. And why will it resolve history? They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men. Why here? We're standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. She smiles. It's where the money is. So we're in an unimportant part of an important place. I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about... She points across the water where the skyscrapers raise. A collection of tall ghosts behind the water vapor, right, reflecting off their glass windows. 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the Bank of the World building. The bottom floors are Insicom, coalition government, Insulindian mission command. Look to the sea. Silent, she lowers her hand. The water, the light, it's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from me. Where are we? We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately. She watches you closely as you scan the horizon. This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you? Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown. This has been informative, thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory impaired partner has many more questions to ask. He turns to you, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. But I suggest not asking them all right now. Monsieur will be here later and tomorrow. Isn't that true, madame? Absolutely. My commitment here is long term. Won't I be lazy if I don't do it all now? Of course not. He shakes his head. You're already diligent for getting this far, and diligent boys remember where they left off. Indeed, I am always at your service. Esprit de Corps. I'll get this one. Maybe. Failure. It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. It's not about you, it's reality. A strange coldness comes over you as you look at the world. The waves sway the sloop slowly, that's all. It's on the tip of your tongue, a doubt of sorts. Already in your mind, but it's not fully formed yet. You have to wait and return to this later once the jamais vu thought is complete. What times are these? These are unimportant times, detective. She puts her finger to the lip and points at you. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second. Too late. Too late for what? The big time. Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth. What's the big time? The revolution, she says. Ha! And what is this revolution I keep hearing about? It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next. Who gets shot in the head and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. Who got shot in the head? Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution, but the communists, they all got shot in the head. It's not gloating, it's a relieved celebration. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well one forgets they even existed. Did the communists and the anarchists shoot back? Did they ever? Before they shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. Truly a kerfuffle. It was a kerfuffle, all right, the lieutenant mumbles from behind his notes. Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it. Anyone else get shot in the head on the opposing side? Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. She shakes her head. Just as well. He wasn't actually the king, just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. I love that king, fucking communist. Which one? Actually, it doesn't matter. Guillaume has always been my favorite. He could smell a PR disaster brewing, so he got out alive and his nephew Frissel got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time. We got the mineral rights. The liberals got the mineral rights. She looks up to the sky and then inland at the crumbling city. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Okay, and by liberals you mean... Liberals are usually middle-class people, detective, or the remaining gentry, the beneficiaries of the pre-evolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the constitution, with monarchy, big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well. How did the liberals win it all? They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing where the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember? We. She's one of them, of course. If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to? The foreign intervention, the coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. Wait, you just said the liberals took everything. The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. She stomps her rubber-footed foot. The ocean, the laws, and the people. You're the coalition. The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vespa, Messena, Orange, and Sur la Clef, the armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do. There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause. Moralist? The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist. I don't think I am moralist, man. Of course, she sized you up. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work. Rudy tooty pointy shooty. That's the way of history, she nods. When was this kerfuffle? The turn of the century revolution? She smiles mischievously. Don't answer. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Grad Aola, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved. Who started it? It wasn't a who, but a what? A pandemic of Sarath, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government. What did this Sarath do? It made people overthrow their governments. No way. Indeed, Sarath is a highly infected microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark. Where did it spread from there? From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the revolution commune. 2 years later, it was the end. What came next? Why, you and I, officer. She spread her arms, raincoat flapping in the wind. Our lives in the zone of control. Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie, a pair of pants. Our lives are very different from each other. No doubt, but we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think. What is the zone of control? A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting enterogenum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, Citizens Militia. Clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of reappropriated silk mill, precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an unarmed motor carriage. The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol after the failure of the suzerain and the commune. What happened to the rest of the world? Modernity. They developed the marvels of intersolar communication, telematic milius, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade. Been like this for how long exactly? 43 years. Hard to fathom, I know. What have we been doing all that time? The 20s saw a decade of urban war. West of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. It's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19, simply hell. And after that, the 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere. Were they? No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash. An Iola-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are. He curtsies. Welcome to reality, baby. From the look of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the zone of control. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away. You don't seem to be thrilled. No right to be dissatisfied, she shakes her head. This shirt is Barbara Moskova. This raincoat is impervious to rain and isn't guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will wear it. No, it's just... He looks at the crumbling tenements, paint flecking from the stone. The voice is almost wistful. Could have had so much more. Every one of us. If only we'd played it right. What would you have done differently? Good question, she cranes her neck. What would you have done differently? No, her first. I asked you, who are you in all this? And I asked you, passless detective of the citizens militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given you? I would have sought a medical solution. Sounds like Sarah threw those people in my hand. So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds, and how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, with the technology 50 years ago? With privatized healthcare and a work ethic that does not turn your brain into sponge tissue. Poor remedy for prion disease. That was the attitude of most of the more moderate Inder tribes, particularly those who supported the king. Kupri, Resplendent, both gone now. Those that survived mended their ways. They're all ultras now. The lieutenant puts down his notes. Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM. She turns to him. What is your official position, Lieutenant? My position, ma'am. My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir. Understandable, she nods. That's enough about the times. They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know? I'm going to do that for now. Let's go. Because that has given me some tasks. I've got a new thing. Damage the realization. Revachol Special Administrative Region, Lakayu, the Insulindian Ocean. Coalition Government, Insulindian Mission Command. Name after name and none of them is familiar. They seem real, but something is wrong. You feel like a kid looking at stickers on the fridge. Dravant, the Apricot Company. World Games 34. You can almost see your hand reaching out for them. Scratch at the corners. See if they peel loose. This feels like the most important of all the thoughts. The one you truly must complete. I haven't found any fucking bottles today. There, working class drunk. You know what this means, right? Case solved. Who's Dick Millen now? I am. Cracked it, all in a good day's work. Wait, what did I crack exactly? What do you mean, what did I crack? Look at how working class that drunk is. It's her husband, the missing husband. Yes, and you found him. Now go and tell the working class woman. Protect and serve, recruit. Give me champagne. I'm going in. There's no need for champagne when there's on a recruit. Go and tell the working class woman what you found right now. This is a bad idea, but whatever. Let's do it. Protect and serve, madam. I found your husband. She crosses her arms. God damn it! I already told you my husband isn't missing. But you said you didn't know where he was. And I specifically added that I didn't need to know where he was. Well, I found him nevertheless. I'm Dick Mullen. Very well then. Where is he? She's getting impatient. Her hands now picking up a random book cover. There. Point to the working class drunk down near the sea. Excuse me? I don't follow. There's something else hiding in her voice though. A train of worry. Found a working class drunk and I thought he might be yours. Right, because working class women come with alcoholic husbands. She glances over your shoulder towards the drunk. You know what? What? You're right. I do have an alcoholic husband. Or no, not that one. Ah, blam. Knew it. You told me your husband's all right. I did, and he is. He's also an alcoholic. So is he missing as well? No, he's not. Or maybe he is. I don't know. He's probably in the park or in Jamrock somewhere, drinking with his friends. She looks away. I haven't seen him for... Well, to hell with him. She's completely forgotten about her book, staring blankly into the distance instead. There, she's worried now. Kim, is it just me or do we have a missing persons case here? I wouldn't be so sure. He replies before turning to face the working class woman. Ma'am, just to be completely clear, do you want to report it to the police? Report what? He's just out drinking with his friends. I'm sure the police has better things to do than chase down local goofballs. Honestly, I just think missing person cases are mysterious. They're not all they're cracked up to be, officer. Why not? Because people either show up on their own or you'll never find them, he said with a flash of teeth. Well, isn't that mysterious? I say there's nothing mysterious about incompleteness. It's in fact rather unpleasant. You're wrong there. Incompleteness is the essence of mystery. Well, I still want one. I want a missing persons case. All right, then. He has questions now. What kind of questions? What did your husband look like? She eyes you from head to toe. Honestly, not that different from you. So let me guess. He's disco. Oh, thank God, no. She nearly begins to laugh. It hasn't come down to this yet. Why did you say that your husband resembles me then? Well, he's slightly chubby. I see. What else? What else? He was wearing a dark brown leather jacket with a bright blue inner lining. The lining is hand sewn. I made it myself. She sighs, her voice slightly quivering when she adds, it's his cool jacket. God knows it's too cold to run around in this, but he refuses to change. Who cares about the cold when you have a cool jacket to wear? You can completely sympathize. I even tried throwing it away once, but he'd stog it out of the bin. Can you believe it? She looks back at you, shaking her head. Well, if that jacket really is that cool, then I can totally understand. But what can you do? I hope that at least that extra lining helps him keep warm at night. I wouldn't like him to catch cold. Just thinking about him out in the cold in some park on the coast, and it's making her more and more worried. When did you last see him? Yesterday morning. He went to the library. Her eyes become cold with recollection. He went to retrieve my book, and he promised he'd walk straight back home. Because we talked about this. We talked about not wandering off again. She scoffs. I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know what to do with his addiction. It just makes me feel weak. Gone for around 36 hours then. Damn, this is a missing person's case. Turns away from you and attempts to recover. I think I got it. Thanks. So you are going to look for him? Yes, I'll bring him back home to you. Thank you. You sense gratitude in her voice. Please do. Even though I'm sure he'll return home by himself. I'm still sure of that. Tries to maintain a brave front, even though his eyes reveal the opposite. I'm sure he will too. When he does, would you let Precinct 57 Kim Katsuragi know? Gives her a slip of paper. The woman takes it. It's a phone number. I will, of course, officer. As I said, it's probably nothing. All right, we got found working class husband. What else do I have to do right now? Oh, I've got to go to back to the union boss. My morale is fine. All right. Can I do this now? Maybe. No. Custom memory dial a random number. Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. 4952 and a moment of hesitation before entering the final numbers. 993. Calling. Still calling. Then crackle. Someone picks up. They say, Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lemmy. How may I help you? The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows. What is this place? Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lemmy. No, I mean, what is this place to me? Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos to me? Do you know me? No. Why did I call you? Maybe you called to extend your rental period. Do you need to extend your rental period? My name is Harry Dubois. Do you have anything on my name? Let me fire up the machine. Keys are being pressed in the background. Dubois. Here we are. You haven't rented anything in 5 years, but you still have a copy of Blue Ocean Hell from November 46. Phew, not a fun film, that one. What kind of film is it? It's not an easy watch. After the death of his daughter and subsequent divorce, Simesk immigrant Egidius Wojcik tries to come to terms with the onset of dementia. He concludes, no wonder no one's been missing it. Still, it would be great if you could return it to us from the corner of Voyager and Maine. Call is terminated by the other party. You're left with the discontinuing sound of the disconnect tone. like left index finger's getting cold. Like the only part of me that's getting cold. It's weird. Those 3 packs worth of cigarette butts, numerous empty bottles of Commodore Red and Quentin Pilsner. I was quietly covering the numerous wine bottles and cigarette butts. Someone partied really, really hard here. Wait, how hard? Well, they went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles of Commodore Red, and almost 4 packs of cigarette. It must have been pretty hard. Did I do this? Well, the lieutenant looks at you, then the bottles. Yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. Looks like I had a lot of fun. It really, really doesn't. The lieutenant tends to go, let's turn our attention elsewhere and move on. Should give me a little bit of cash anyway. So this is where I was the night that I passed out. This is the night watchman's booth. The name of the door reads Renee Arnaus. This is where Renee works. I'm going to look around. If you must. The lieutenant looks around, but please hurry. We're pretty easy to spot up here. Nothing incriminating catches your eyes. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table. Take a picture. Black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. This man Renee is dressed in a Royal Carabiner uniform. Carabiner, the girl is young and very pretty. She is smiling playfully at the camera. Renee looks like he's about to smile. This photo must be tied to some good memories. Why did you take the picture of Renee? The lieutenant asked, glancing at the photo. I'm going to ask him about it. You're really interested in that old soldier, he remarked, surprised. But sure, I understand your fascination. Sure, as long as it doesn't take up a lot of time. Photo of a happy couple. Summer of 91, that's a while ago. 5 skill points. I do. Ugh. I wanted to do another skill point, did I? Hang on, can I forget one with a skill point? Finger pistols. No, I don't want to forget anything until I have to. Let's just... Logic, maybe rhetoric or drama? Maybe I'll up my empathy one more. No, conceptualization, because I need to do that for that thing. Intellect base. That'll help let me have another crack at that wall. Rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Aluma and Attendre are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. The container is attached to its hook block. Press Aluma. The large amount of crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air. With a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container down. The harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again now that its purpose has been fulfilled. Its purpose? What do you mean? Moving this container, of course. For this purpose it was built, for this purpose it has acted, and now it will rest. Can't see how that was worth the ruckus. Except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying. Press the thumb. The crane does not return to its original business. It does not move at all. Leave. So now I can open the door. Maybe. Before you stand, you a cargo container, just one minute in the yard. Kim, I think there's something about this container. Lieutenant size. Is this like your thing with that wall again? Maybe, I can't tell. I think we should investigate further. You do? Because I don't. What? Why not? There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? It's hanging from the crane. You just picked one out because you wanted to interact with the cargo container. We're not here to interact with the containers. We're here to talk to the Union, alright? Knock the door. No reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside the container. Open the door. Turn the handle to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some punishment. Nothing to do here for now. Leave. Okay. We can't do it yet. Doesn't mean we won't be able to later though. Trying to get my cash. I think I've already taken money out of this, but we'll see. Yeah, there's nothing in there. I wonder if this guy's got any more conversation points now.
Oh, hey, mister. I need to be back to talk with old Leah here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larisse said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They can only get so far before they're aching to get back. And a lot of folks really did keep coming back.
I had some questions for you if that's not too much trouble. Oh no, there's nothing there. Alright, talk to old mate again, which isn't going to go well for us, I assume. Hang on. Do I have anything that will... If I take that off... -2 to authority. +1 to logic. What have I got now? +1 to conceptualization. Yeah, let's change shirts for now. And then we'll talk to him.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you're already sat on that chair.
I opened the door you asked me. Can we discuss the murder now? I'm very glad to hear that, Harry, he says with a smile. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, do you? The deal wasn't for me to go inside, so I didn't. You're right, Harry. You only had to unlock the door. Gives you a clever look. Which you did, so we're all good here. Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. He pretends to roll up his sleeves. Real police work is going to start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is going to be good. Caging runt with the 14 months. You beautiful motherfucker, how are you? Enjoy your sub badge, because I actually have sub badges now. XOXO, what is a kraken? Mr. Slacken. Caging month. You are a month. You're a whole month. Whole 31 days. Even the longest type of month. Yeah, I know, dude. Finally. Just playing some Disco Elysium, dude, which is a fucking amazing game. And then just basking in my new lighting in my house, which is making me stand out and look amazing, look sexy. It's making it hard using expired old credit cards to save payment lately for some reason. Oh, sucks. You like the sword? Thanks, dude. Man, you haven't been here a while if you haven't seen that. That's been up since Valentine's Day last year. You should stab the monitor when you get annoyed. Aragon's sword. Yeah, nah, that was my Valentine's Day present from Katie, but she put all of my shit on the wall. So I've got a PUBG poster. I've I've got an office poacher that says Bears beats Battlestars Galactica. And then I also have a picture of a wolf. But that fell off the wall and I've got to put it back up. So it's currently leaning against the wall. It was in just last week or so. Well, then you haven't been looking at my camera. That's all I can say. There's a collection of colonial mugs there, and I found a similar mug in the trash with the hangman's clothes. Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment. He grabs his head with both hands. You guys are just light years ahead of me. I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best, helping people with the power of politics. Yes, yes. Do you think this weasel is somehow connected to the murder? Oh, no, no, no. I don't cross paths like that. He shakes his head, laughing. All I want for you is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you. But this weasel might have cleaned up after the killers. Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are known to be neat freaks. I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right? He imitates bashing something with an imaginary baton. I'll look at your camera. Ooh. There's this beautiful mug. Okay? Beautiful mug. Great technique. You'd make a great sergeant. Would he? I'm not so sure about it. Oh, you're too kind, Harry. Way too kind. He chuckles. I know I'm not a real police officer. You are. Needs more Arthur. Arthur's probably asleep in the back room at the moment. I don't know what I don't think he's been in here since we got the new lights installed yesterday, so I don't know what he was going to feel like it. Overall, so it's much brighter in this specific area, but overall it's much darker in the whole room. You said the lynching and the strike are related. How? By now I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys, Wild Pines, sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flat caps. What do you mean? He wants to snooze on keyboard. Vex attacks him with light. Oh, he hasn't been in here since, to be honest. And he was passed out on the couch when I came into the study. So he probably just is still asleep. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries. You mean our victim? He nods gravely. A security contractor, can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire. He forms a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun. I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yeesit, Seminine, Saramiriza, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Is that an axe mace next to the sword or a feather duster? Oh, no, that's a, it's like leaves hanging, and then there's a ruler hanging as well. That's just a practical adornment. That's nothing to do with the actual display. Yeah, it's like branches or something. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only living thing they didn't, or the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant. Go on. No, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. I need to go somewhere. They just moved my container. He laughs. Wait, they moved the container? Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. I lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. His face turns serious. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. He shakes his head. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees. Wow. Is combat in this game? And if so, what is it like? Turn-based? There has been no combat as of yet. I don't know if that will continue. Right now, it's all dialogue and dice roll stuff. A negotiator. You mean Joyce? Harry, he says, ignoring the lieutenant. What you need to realize is we're dock workers and not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill. How far are you in? Saw you playing it the other day too. I'm probably about... I don't know in terms of the story because I don't know how long it goes for, but I did 3 hours, 4 hours, and then I'm up to another 3.5. No, I'm probably almost 10 hours in, if not a little bit further. I'm voice acting it all though, so it takes a little bit longer than if I was just reading and clicking, you know what I mean? 10 hours and no combat. Well, it's not that kind of game, dude. It's a story game. Oh yeah, I hate that. Just, I think it's just one of those things, man. Like, I'm enjoying the bit of difference. Like, my vocal cords are not, but oh well. Wait, the whole neighborhood is in on it? Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base. Who exactly did the pushing? There's a militant wing inside the union, a group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly. Sounds a bit like organized crime. They're like you guys, he nods to you and the lieutenant. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen, and if they already have, well, punishment must follow. Again, it sounds like organized crime. So these idealists kill their victim? One day, Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, social democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation. Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this? Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in, he chuckles. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them. He's just boasting then. It sure doesn't feel like that to you. He's not worried. It was a bullet in the hangman's head. So they shot him? He sounds pleasantly surprised. He was shot in the head before he was hanged. How odd, the man shrugs. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard. What I do know is the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, my 2 little policemen. Godspeed, policeman. This guy is such a smarmy cunt and I hate him. A boring Euro truck where you just drive on the highway for hours. Oh, so you've got like constantly like battling against the ice and shit. How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company? How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. He slams his fist on the desk. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates. Do you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor? You said it. Hell. The fist slams on the desk again. One of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that just don't happen to show up during strikes. Yeah, most of the roads are like dirt, mud, and can even just cut across through forest and shit. Oh, awesome. That in Alaska, so iced over roads and so everywhere. Fun, fun, fun. It actually sounds pretty sick. I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. How long was the game? Like 6 days of like full days of playing it? The name of the company is Cornell this time. It might have been Sediment before. Of course, you're always one step of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me. You mentioned a lawyer girl? Oh, Liz is a bright one, he grins broadly. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy, but hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. Tell me about the Titus Hardy and his crew. Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them, exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement, core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. He started laughing. Gotta love his initiative. Interesting. Who's second in command? 72 hours, epic exclusive, I think. So they only show days after 48 hours. Ah, right. You got a roadmap of shit coming with Season Pass 2. It looks sexy. Fuck yeah. Is it free or paid? They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. And who like beer, women, and some order on the streets. Where can I find them? You know what, Harry? He points both index fingers at you. I got a feeling they're going to show up in full force tomorrow. The lieutenant marks something in his notebook. In the future, I could use your backing. Can you ask the Hardy boys to cooperate? But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we concluded this talk. When you meet this Titus, tell him about this. See what he has to say. Also, Harry, here's 5 real. He holds out a banknote. I don't need it. I only want you to help me with the Hardy boys. I wasn't offering to you, just holding it out there. He pockets the bill. But I am willing to share information. Was there anything else? Let's conclude for now. Was it a good talk? He leans back, suddenly worried. I'm not sure we've made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez, and of course I also wanted you to find your gun. Great sadness comes over him. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet. Maybe 80. You got the deluxe. It was 100. Nice. Such an improvement on Mud Runner though. They added in objectives and missions and shit, and some of them rebuild bridges and shit to help you get around the map. Exactly what you wanted from Mud Runner. Oh, fuck yeah. Yes, Harry, it's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left, he says, slowly shaking his head. I want to, but I just can't. Man of the left? So you have to be a social democrat? He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats. It's another corrupt scream, isn't it? Neither left nor right. I do what my heart tells me to do. What does your heart tell you about your lost gun, Harry? Does it tell you to forget about it, or do you think it wants to be found? He picks something from his teeth. I think it's lonely and cold. I think it wants to be found, and I have a proposal for you. And what would this entail? Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper. He pulls out an envelope, and then mail it to my accountant in the Delta. Kim, what do you think of this? It depends. I don't think we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful. Studies have rough. But he thinks it's your call. As I said, it weighs on me heavily. He waves his head in shame, looks up and smiles. But once we get really talking, well, I'm going to hand you the keys to Martinez and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing. What are the signatures for? I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth center in Martinez. He grins broadly. It would be righteous. We're going to get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. Communists, yeah. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed it. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry. Where is this place exactly? On the coast, Harry. Across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there. A little village, they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry. What will happen to the current occupants? They're just going to have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings right next to a fancy new youth center designed by the best architects from Stella Marie. Fine, if I happen to be there, I can ask them. You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here, he hands you an open white envelope. Need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. And there's some trouble with the water leak, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then we can talk about your gun. He runs his fingers through his hair. What's in the container that's outside your office? My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them. Something special about it. It was attached to the Kvalson crane. Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch, he says with the fondness of smiles. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you. Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it. Can we go over a few details? No, I don't want to do that. See you soon, Beboudoir.